My next two are gonna be kind of curveballs, but we're just gonna fucking roll with it.
Yes.
Um,
Mine are definitely curveballs too, kind of.
my fourth recommendation is time for the trap segment.
Here we
This
go.
is Heaven or Hell.
Oh, Bon
Yeah,
Toliver.
Heaven and Hell, by Heaven or Hell by Don Toliver. So,
Mhm.
Don Toliver's popped up in little bits here and there.
Mhm.
He's kind of like the up and comer for the Jack Boy sort of
Mhm.
circuit of people. Travis Scott's kind of like friends associated
Yeah,
Texas.
except for
Houston
I
area.
heard Spaceship. That's
Yeah,
the one with Check West that I've heard.
yeah. Also on the Jack Boys drop that came out late last year, there's a song "Had Enough" featuring Quavo and Offset,
Mhm.
which going back, like I was looking at Jack Boys just a moment ago to think of like what were like the good songs off of that, and like Out West and Had Enough were kind of the two best ones in my opinion. What sets Don Toliver apart generally is that when I was listening to the trap album, first of all, it's short. Second of all,
Yes.
many of the kind of annoying trap flares that come in production, the pitfalls of making it where like the bass is just blown out and sounds bad, the voice is just bad. Like Tory Lanez released an album this week, and I listened to some of it, and the first song I was like, whoever engineered this should be fired and like blacklisted from all of music. Because like, how do you release a brand new record that's like not supposed to be a mixtape? It's supposed to be a fucking record where the bass sounds blown out and
I hate that.
the vocals sound like they were recorded with my fucking headphones for like my phone right here, like the OnePlus bullets here. What like it literally sounds so bad. Like how do you do that? How do you as a sound engineer just not go, dude, please record this? Like for your own good, please record this. But anyways, it doesn't do that. It's just Don Toliver's Heaven or Hell is a really tightly produced album where like I can listen to parts of it through. Like the first song will definitely be annoying with you, but like Cardigan is like a bit of a
the song with Sheck West I like because I remember listening to it because when any song with Sheck West you expect crazy bass and this and that, but it was something where I was like waiting for the drop and nothing really came of it, and it was more vocal heavy into the song.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like it.
It's almost taking production cues from trap and B, but it's still definitely not.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a
Yeah.
trap. Like there's rap
for
going
sure,
through
there's
and
trap,
through. The
yeah.
themes are still kind of similar, but even then, like Cardigan, After Party, Candy are really great. But like Had Enough, even though it has Quavo and Offset on it, I just
didn't listen
think
to that song. Yeah.
combining it like kind of this jazz beat with this kind of really simple but really basic, just like bass line that's not super 808'd out, but just like a dung 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 dung. It's just like a nice melody to keep it going and to keep it fresh and to extend it out not just over Don Toliver's parts but over the features, which is really good. But like yeah, I can listen to this entire thing. Only 36 minutes, so it's also
it's not
pretty
bad, yeah.
short. But yeah, this is one of like one of those sleeper trap albums that's been like really good this year. I've had Enough might end up being my most played song of the year, honestly, because it's just really fun to like play video games too.
Yeah. So my fourth recommendation is BSOD, or also known as Blue Screen of Death, which if you guys really know that Deadmau5 like I do, that was Deadmau5's.
Y'all have used an old Windows computer.
Yeah,
before.
also if you also yeah, well if you know what a Blue Screen of Death is,
Yeah.
But that was Deadmau5's first little thing into the music world. It was a collaboration with him and producer Steve Dubda, where him and the producer, they made a song called "Here Comes the Drop," and that was his biggest. That was the little stepping stone before he became his own artist. So and then out of nowhere, he just said, "Oh, me and the guy, we came back and we just made a little EP thing." I'm like, the fuck, super random. But for electronic, oh, I love this shit so much. I love it. I love it. I love it. There's Afterburners, the first song on it. It's just 4 songs for the EP, but it's kind of nice to see a project from him because Deadmau5 was doing a lot of different stuff, but there hasn't been a solid real Deadmau5 album in about 4 or 5 years. But this is the first thing I've heard in a while where it sounds like him, but it's not super monotonous like a lot of his other work and stuff has been, which is the problem of some EDM and stuff, but I genuinely like that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but Afterburner is really good. I like the beat of it. There's enough newer sounds from him and stuff, but enough into it to where it does it. But it's really cool as a project to get it. My favorite though is Pitches Love Me, which is a hilarious name. Just the beat in it and everything, the production of it, it's super crisp. It's also like it's fun to rock out to or play video games with, as you were saying before too. So
I don't have many more activities to do at this point.
Yeah,
going on laps around the block.
Dead out. Me in a nutshell right now. So yeah, if you're a fan of that style of electronic music, you definitely want to check that out. Not many people know Blue Screen of Death, So
Yeah,
there you
this
go.
is 24K monthly listeners on Spotify. So if you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make it bad, just makes it unheard of.
Exactly. So that's why I remember he like posted something on his Twitter. He's like, BSOD's back. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, after what, 14, 15 years?
McRib is back.
It's like, right? It's super random, but I'm like, sick. We'll jump in right now.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay.
Amazing.
My fifth one, let's have a go at the old pronunciation game.
I'm not
This
gonna, I'm
is-
not gonna try it.
This is Saint Cloud by Waxahatchee.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try it. I'm just not.
So, Waxahatchee is a very like folk leaning kind of artist. I only heard of her because
I've never heard of her.
on one of my like perusals through music, her latest album Saint Cloud was being really hyped up. I think The Guardian called it the best album of the year. And so I was like, okay.
Wait, Saint Cloud, that's her. Oh, I've heard of Saint Cloud. I thought that was a band.
Yeah, Saint Cloud.
So okay, sometimes music just slips
It's
through
a dream,
us.
yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, but Saint Cloud is an album made by Waxahatchee that had just come out in late March. It's 40 minutes long, and it's steeped in that folk kind of way of thinking, in that kind of school of music and making music in that way. But it takes a lot of cues from alternative, not making it an alternative folk album, but just adding things from alternative that just like make folk sound a little bit less folksy, if you will. And the result is just this really nice combination. The song that's being talked about a lot is Fire, but I think actually my favorite one's The Eye. It just has, you can tell it's folksy, but she has like a bit of a flair to it that isn't just like the usual I'm going to be a pop star flair. It's more like, I know that this might sound good, or even by like pitching my voice in this certain way right now, it's going to just like add a little bit of like kick to it in a way. And so I was genuinely surprised that I was able to listen to this album like 4 times through and I didn't hate it and I didn't skip it. And folk is very much not my thing, but I'm always trying to find like a way to get inroads into some of these genres that like I can kind of like sometimes, but don't. Album of the year, best album, made of the year, far from that. I think I might have better feelings if I more like had more of a proclivity towards folk music. But even when I don't, I can tell this is a really well produced album with really nice bits to it. Hell's also a really nice song too. Like the part in the middle is really, really good.
Interesting.
But it plays through super nicely, and I don't like roll my eyes or go, I'm sick of the subject matter. I'm sick of this like sort of twang it has. No, it's kept fresh in a way that kind of like The Strokes. It's really subtle how it's kept fresh, but when you like really dig into it, it's taking these influences from mainly alternative and just like how you're constructing the songs, and it makes it way more listenable than most folk music I ever listened to. So yeah, check that out. I think it's
I definitely
a curveball and it's super interesting.
It's funny. I totally thought it was a band. I didn't realize that's the name. It's hilarious. Definitely will check it out though.
Yes.
And then my last one is Fuzzybrain by Dayglow. This album came out in November of 2019. I never really got a chance to talk about it too much on the podcast because that was at the end of the year. Plus, we had like the 50 to 10s and so much shit going on. It just slipped through.
Yeah.
Until I was like, I'm waiting for a recommendation because I do want to talk about this. Dayglow is like Tame Impala, where it's one guy making all the stuff. And it's this, I think he's still a teenager, I believe. A guy out of Texas. And out of my favorite, like, you know, I listen to a lot of hipster indie trash music, as I like to call it. This is one of my favorite indie hipstery things to come out in a decade. It's a very, very, very good album.
I have heard of Dayglow. I just haven't heard this album.
Okay. So you have, because this should be his first album, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I know he's released little things here or there, but as a full LP, this is his first one. False Direction starts off of, it sounds like old Phoenix. Like 2005, 2006 Phoenix style, but mixed in more with indie things. You have Can I Call You Tonight, which is one of my favorite songs that came out last year by far. Really, really good song. Run the World is great. Dear Friend in that middle section, he has a shit ton of influences that come from all over the spectrum. You have a lot of he posted about he had a lot of influences from Phoenix, Mac DeMarco, Vampire Weekend, George Harrison. And you can hear those influences in the album, but they're not super like copying or anything like that. It's enough to where he puts his own flair in it. And he also said that he was inspired a lot by Tame Impala when he was starting to make music, because he said, if one guy can make some of the best music on planet Earth why can't I do it? And he just started messing around in high school, and he said, this is kind of fun, and he made this wonderful album, and it's very, very good. Junior Varsity's great. Nicknames, Listerine, the ending track is a really good wrapping up of everything, and it's the thing I like about the album a lot is how the vocals, how he messes with the vocals a lot. Like example, Can I Call You Tonight? He has the little theme of like a telephone in the background, or it sounds like it's being go through like an old telephone speaker style. So you have that little theme into it. So there's little nuances and stuff that, as someone who's produced music before, it's a pain in the ass to do, and it's very hard, especially as one person doing it.
Yeah.
Major respect, and it's something where I wanted to continue making more music, and this is one of those, as I said last podcast, one of these teenager artists that makes a lot of really good music. And in this little indie scene, there's so many artists that are coming out that, unless you're in it, you don't know too much about it. Like you have Bidoo BB, as I like to call her.
Biba Doobie.
Yeah, I will always call it Bidoo BB. Bidoo BB is one of them as well. Dayglow, you have these artists that are coming up together, and that they're those Gen Zs that are coming up, but they're making fantastic music. So it's one artist that I will always keep out my eye for. So yeah, those are recommendations.
I was gonna say, I was really close to recommending 2 bands in this because they had released albums and I was planning on talking about them, but then March just became March. They are Phantogram and Joywave.
Joywave, I know, yeah.
Yeah, Phantogram has been out for a while and has been like
yeah.
releasing albums. I was looking forward to this, but I think the sad thing about it for me was that it was a little bit bland and kind of quiet compared to the other albums they've done. There's still some songs in there that I liked. I actually found the end, like Glowing and Gaunt Kids, to be some really interesting songs. And News Today is like one of those like almost like Tom York level sad songs.
Oh Lord.
It's really nice, but they're just a lot more like chill and muted than I expected, honestly, from a Phantogram album at this point, because a lot of their previous work has been also very chill and muted. And they go back and forth between them, but I felt like this was when they would do something a little more fun. So it was like fine but there. Joywave is a different thing because I thought it would be a really good album, but here's what...
They've made good stuff before.
They made amazing stuff.
Yeah.
How do you feel now?
So the last album was what, 15 or 16?
Yeah.
Around that time? It was very good. I remember listening to that.
And I think there was even another... Yeah, I'm thinking of Dangerous is the song that was like super big that Joywave made however long ago, like early 2010s. Like it's going to be a staple of like 2010 sounding music. But yeah, this latest album, Possession, was just very overproduced. It felt like the label behind it was just like trying super hard to get it to sound a certain way. And because of that, it felt like the entire album was like in a box. And every time the album tried to punch against the edges of that box, you could feel the box was there. Even there are songs like Obsession and Blast Off and the counter of it, the Possession, the title track of the album, they sound nice, but it's just so overproduced, and then whatever isn't in there just kind of got bland. So both Phantogram and Joywave, I was looking forward to those. I kind of got sad for them. I'm not putting them on music recommendations, but I'll just like mention them that maybe they're worth kind of listening to. But
because I mean, yeah, I've heard both. I've listened to both before, so
yeah,
that makes sense. I could see that for Joywave, because Joywave, obviously their big hit that came out, that's be like 2011 maybe or so, something like that, early 2010s. I don't. It wasn't even their song technically, right? They were featured on it, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. But I could see that from a record company when they tried to make it a certain sound or whatever. Also, overlying like an album.
I just noticed they were putting so many advertisements out for Joywave.
Yeah,
and they're even doing the new thing where like you can pay Spotify to get a little pop-up to show for like that album. Like anytime you see those, there's a sponsored thing under them and they're paid for.
That's what I got a lot from my Spotify was Joywave has a new album, this and that, and I'm like, I never listened to it because I thought we were going to for the podcast at some point. I was like, I'll just wait until then because I don't want to forget about it. I just want it more fresh on my mind. But that's sad because I do like their music. Yeah. So I'll listen to it and see what I think too.
And in both of them, it's not like it's not like a so you don't have to listen to this kind of review.
But it's more of a thing where we've listened to it.
Yeah, we will listen to it. I won't talk about it like much more on the podcast. But like they're all right. And you might find 1 to 3 songs in each album that you enjoy. But nevertheless, that is better than most. So that is a lot of music for one episode. Let's end it there.